See that? Grabbing, physically grabbing her, applying pressure, pushing her. Look at Brittany Griner.
Funny looking at all this. Every single Caitlin Clark hater is like, that was a clean play. It wasn't a clean play. Like, you cannot pretend you are not watching basketball. It was not a clean play.
The footage is out, and it's bad. Real bad. A WNBA referee is now at the center of a growing scandal after leaked video shows Caitlin Clark, yes, the Caitlin Clark, getting slammed, shoved, and straight up targeted on the court, with the refs doing absolutely nothing.
Look at how close Ryan Howard playing her. This is crazy.
Now, league officials are scrambling. Rumors of a suspension are spreading fast, and fans are demanding answers. Because this wasn't just a missed call. This wasn't just another rough game. This was the league's most valuable player getting physically punished in plain sight, while the people paid to protect her turned their backs.
When you allow this kind of behavior in your league, someone is bound to get hurt eventually. The WNBA needs to protect its players. Caitlin Clark deserves better.
And it gets even worse. Because the injury she walked off with, it might have been completely preventable if anyone had just blown the whistle, but they didn't. And what's happening behind the scenes now is turning into a full-blown disaster for the WNBA. When the Indiana Fever announced Caitlin Clark would miss at least 2 weeks with a quad strain, the league tried to play it cool. Just a minor setback. Nothing serious. She'll be back soon. But fans weren't buying it, because if you've been watching Clark over the past few games, you knew something was off. The lift in her shot was gone. Her drives to the rim looked stiff, and that signature explosive first step, it just wasn't there. People started connecting the dots, heating pads on the sideline, compression wraps during timeouts, and still, she was out there playing through obvious pain like nothing was wrong. Turns out she wasn't just sore, she was hurting, and she'd been hurting for weeks. Reports now say the quad strain had been bothering her since training camp. She was literally grinding through injury in her rookie season just to stay on the court. That's not just dedication, that's desperation. Desperation to carry a team. Desperation to live up to the hype. Desperation to prove she belonged, even when her body was already waving the white flag. And all of that built up to one moment, one game, one stretch of shocking physicality that finally pushed her past the limit. But what actually happened on the court that night? The footage tells a different story, and once you see it, you'll understand why people are calling for suspensions. It didn't take long for fans to start digging. And what they found? It was ugly. Leaked footage from the Fever's matchup against the Atlanta Dream is now flooding social media, and it's lighting the WNBA world on fire. In the clip, Clark is grabbed by the jersey, yanked off balance, body checked like it's hockey, not basketball. One defender literally wraps her arm around Clark's waist like she's trying to bring her to the ground. This wasn't defense, it was a beatdown. And here's the worst part. The referee was right there, front row view, watched it happen. No whistle, no call, no reaction. Fans are calling it deliberate targeting. Analysts are calling it dangerous play. And players? Some of them are starting to speak out, saying the league's silence speaks volumes. You can see the pattern now. This wasn't just one rough night. It was the moment Clark's injury became inevitable, a culmination of weeks of physical play, with zero protection from the refs. And the more angles that surface, the clearer it gets. This wasn't an accident. This was allowed to happen. But what happens when the blame starts shifting? When fans start pointing fingers at the people who were supposed to step in? One name is now at the center of it all, and the league might not have a choice but to act. Now here's where it all explodes. Multiple angles of the leaked footage reveal something damning. One referee in perfect position, watching Clark get slammed to the hardwood and doing nothing. Not a flinch, not a whistle. Just standing there like it was part of the game plan. That single non-call has now ignited full-blown outrage. Sources inside the league say internal reviews have already begun. And while nothing's official yet, early reports suggest that one referee, who's been involved in several controversial games this season, could be facing suspension. The league hasn't named names publicly, but online sleuths already have. Clips are being spliced, shared, and slowed down frame by frame. Fans are putting together a highlight reel of this ref's worst moments, and Caitlin Clark's name is at the center of all of them. Former WNBA players have weighed in too. One called the footage criminal negligence. Another said, if this happened in the NBA, that ref would have been gone by halftime. It's not just about missing a foul anymore. It's about a pattern of silence that led to injury, and potentially millions in lost revenue. And now, with the public spotlight brighter than ever, the league is being backed into a corner. Someone has to take the fall. But if you think this is just about one official, think again. Because the real problem runs much deeper, and it starts at the top. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's the reason the NBA is suddenly everywhere. Before she even played her first game, Clark had already made history. Preseason matchups were nationally televised. Merchandise sold out overnight. Ticket prices tripled. And when the season tipped off, the numbers spoke for themselves. Out of the 24-day games that cracked 1 million viewers in 2024, 21 of them featured Clark. Games without her averaged less than $400,000. She is the ratings machine, the walking headline, the league's one woman, economic engine, and yet the WNBA treated her like she was disposable. No superstar whistle, no extra protection, not even basic foul calls. They let defenders shove, hit, grab, and harass her game after game, like she hadn't transformed the league's entire financial future. While the NBA protected Jordan, LeBron, and Steph with quick whistles and star treatment, the WNBA left Clark out there to survive on her own, and now they're paying the price. Because when your golden goose goes down, the entire system shakes. Ticket sales crash, viewership plummets, sponsorships hesitate, and fans, they don't forget. They remember the league that failed to protect the reason they showed up in the first place. But the fallout doesn't stop with lost dollars. It's already hitting the court, hard. The moment Caitlin Clark's injury was announced, the market responded, and it wasn't subtle. Ticket prices for Fever games dropped 42% overnight. That's not a dip, that's a cliff dive. The highly anticipated rematch between Clark and Angel Reese, once the hottest ticket in town, now slashed from $137 to just $80, and that's just the beginning. Sponsors are already pulling back, unsure if the viewership boom can survive without its main attraction. Broadcasters are sweating, knowing the ratings for upcoming national games just took a major hit. Local economies are feeling it too. Hotels in Indianapolis that had been booking solid every Fever home game, now staring at cancellations. Visit Indy, the city's tourism board, reported a 501% spike in Fever-related traffic after Clark's arrival. That momentum is now in freefall. $75 million practice facility was greenlit largely because of Clark's presence. And now, the league's top attraction is on ice, and no one knows for how long. This is what happens when you fail to protect your most valuable asset. This is the cost of bad officiating, and it's not just the fans or the city feeling the ripple effect. Even Vegas is adjusting. Clark's MVP odds dropped instantly. What was once a frontrunner's race is now wide open. The numbers don't lie. The damage is already here. And it's not just financial, it's credibility. But while the league panics, Clark's coach and teammates are breaking their silence. And what they're saying? It's damning. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. She called the officiating egregious. Not unfortunate, not frustrating, egregious. And she had the numbers to back it up. In recent games, the Fever faced a -31 free throw discrepancy. That's not a small gap. That's a neon sign flashing by us. We're not just jacking threes, she said. We're attacking the rim. Translation? Clark is driving into contact, getting hacked, and getting nothing. From the officials, even her teammates, who've mostly stayed quiet, are starting to speak out. They're frustrated. They see it happening in real time. Clark gets knocked to the floor. She looks up at the refs. Nothing. Her teammates protest. Still nothing. And it's not just once. It's every game, every drive, every quarter. Fans might see the headlines, but her team, they feel the hits. They see the bruises. And now, they're watching the best player on their roster sit out while the refs walk away without consequence. This isn't just incompetence. It's favoritism in reverse. And players are done pretending otherwise. But the ugliest part? This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a trend. And that trend has gone unchecked for far too long. One missed call is a mistake. Two is a bad night. But when it happens game after game, team after team, it becomes something else entirely. A pattern. Caitlin Clark has been targeted all season. Go back and watch the film. Liberty, Dream, Sky, same story every time. She gets doubled, bumped, grabbed, slammed, and still, the whistle stays silent. The final play against the Liberty said it all. Natasha Cloud made clear contact with Clark on a game-deciding possession. No whistle, no review. Just another moment where the league's biggest star got treated. Like a rookie with no name, and fans noticed. So did analysts. So did players. Because that kind of contact doesn't get ignored, unless it's supposed to. What makes this worse is how obvious it's become. Clark is routinely swarmed, double and triple teamed, pushed off her spot, denied space to even breathe, and the refs act like it's part of the playbook. This isn't just physical basketball, it's targeted abuse. And the referees, whether by incompetence or instruction, are giving players the green light to take liberties with her. The result? A league that looks more like a wrestling match than professional basketball, and a rising superstar now stuck on the bench with a preventable injury. But here's the truth. If the WNBA doesn't recognize this pattern now, the damage won't stop at one player. The entire league's future hangs in the balance. Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a single game in over 8 years. From high school to college to her rookie WNBA season, 185 straight games. That kind of durability is almost unheard of in modern basketball. And now, that streak is over. Not because of a freak accident, but because the league didn't do its job. The WNBA had one mission: protect its star. Instead, they left her exposed. Let the fouls pile up, let the abuse continue. Ignored every warning sign until her body finally gave out. And now the league is scrambling, because the consequences are stacking up. Revenue down, ratings in free fall, fans furious, coaches speaking out. The media spotlight getting hotter by the hour. This was a completely avoidable disaster. All they had to do was treat Clark like every other superstar in every other league. Blow the whistle, call the foul, set the tone. They didn't. And now, they're going to find out exactly what the WNBA looks like without Caitlin Clark. The next 2 weeks are going to be brutal. The Fever without their floor general. National games without their main attraction. Sponsors waiting to see if the magic is still there without the name that built the hype. But here's the real question. What happens when she comes back? Will the league have learned anything? Will referees finally enforce the rules fairly? Or will Clark step back onto a court that's just as dangerous and just as indifferent as the one she left? Because if the WNBA gets this wrong again, it won't just be Clark who walks away. The footage is out, the injury is real, and the silence from the league, that's the loudest part of all. This wasn't just a star going down, it was a warning, shot, a spotlight on everything the WNBA has ignored for too long. Because when you let your most valuable player get bullied, targeted, and injured on camera, and the response is nothing but spin and damage control, you're telling the world exactly where your priorities are. And now, for the first time, we're about to see what happens when Caitlin Clark isn't there to carry the ratings, sell the tickets, and keep the spotlight on women's basketball. If viewership crashes, if ticket sales flatline, if the hype dies down, it won't be on Clark. It'll be on the system that failed her. This should have been her moment. Her season, her chance to take the WNBA to heights it's never seen. Instead, it's a crisis, one the league brought on itself. So now, all eyes are on the league office, on the refs, on the next game, the next foul, the next call that should be made. Because the next time Caitlin Clark steps on the court, fans won't just be watching the game. They'll be watching the refs. They'll be watching how she's treated, and they'll be ready to walk away if the league fails her again. This is your wake-up call. WNBA, don't hit snooze. If you think the WNBA needs to start protecting its stars before it's too late, hit that like button so more people see what's really going on. And if you're riding with Caitlin Clark through this mess, subscribe for more updates, leaked footage breakdowns, and everything the league doesn't want you to know. Drop a comment below. Do you think the ref should be suspended? Or is this just part of the game? Let's hear it.